All right, you guys, so I'm here at Highly Mazda today, and I have both of the keys to the brand new Mazda 3 Sedan and the Mazda 3 Hatchback, and we're gonna check them out today for you guys. All right, you guys, so let me explain this setup just a little bit. So right over here, we're going to have the base version of the hatch. So the hatchback, you can't get it in cloth, and it comes with leather standard if you decide to go with the hatchback. So this version is no options. The only options, actually, I do apologize, is the white snowflake pearl paint coat, which by the way, looks absolutely gorgeous in the sunlight. It has so much pearl, and I think the black and the white on this look fantastic. But that $200 paint coat is the only option on this. So you guys are gonna see what this looks like just in its basic form on the hatchback. Now the sedan is fully loaded. This is deep crystal blue, and this has every option you can get on the sedan version. So we have fully loaded, and then we have base essentially with the hatchback here. So let's go ahead and dive into both of these. All right, starting with the Mazda 3 Sedan. So first thing you're gonna notice between the two is this one has the silver outline on the grille, and then also coming to the middle of the grille, you have this sort of brick pattern as opposed to the just black mesh right here. Now, this is the premium version, so this is the highest spec on the Mazda 3, so you are going to get full LED lights. So you get the halo ring, you're going to get LED high beams, low beams, turn signals, and you don't have fog lamps, but they are going to be integrated within this housing as well. You also have LED turn signals on your mirrors, which is super impressive. But overall, I do love the new evolution of the Kodo design language. I think it looks very, very good. You do have 18-inch wheels on both of these cars. However, the color of the wheels on the sedan are going to be a little bit lighter than the ones on the hatchback, but they still look really good. Basically look the same as the ones from the previous generation, but they're just ever so slightly different. And I think the lines on this thing look very good. I'm actually having a hard time deciding between the looks on this versus the looks of the hatchback. From a profile, you'll have a very hard time distinguishing it from the previous generation sedan. They look basically identical, but once you move to the back, you can definitely tell this is the new 2019 Mazda 3 Sedan. Now the back end of this looks very concept-like. I love the way it looks. I love how that Mazda symbol actually sticks out right there. You guys can see that. And the lights are full LEDs back here as well. They look beautiful. They have these 4 circles glowing, and even your turn signals are going to be these 4 little LED dots, and it's just a very, very high quality look. Even the brand new font on the Mazda 3 looks a lot more premium. Then you have these dual exhausts down here. And yeah, the overall car just looks really, really good. All right, so coming to the exterior of the new Mazda 3 hatchback. Now, seeing this in pictures, I thought it looked a little strange, but after seeing it in person, it looks very, very good in person. And I do think I would choose it over the sedan, but that's just my personal opinion. Now, first thing you guys are gonna notice is this blacked out grille as opposed to this grille right here. Now keep in mind, this is the base version of the hatchback. Even still, you are going to get LED lights on here as standard, though they're not going to have the halo ring. You still get LED lights and LED turn signals, as well as LED high beams. So that is very, very impressive. And I love the lines on the hood, especially with this white and black, and that blacked out grille just looks super, super mean. You do have the darker wheels like I mentioned earlier, so you guys can see you have darker wheels on this one, and here are the wheels on the 3 Sedan, and then the wheels on this one. But like I said, looks very good, especially contrasted with this white exterior paint. And you guys can see the hatchback shape starting to take form right there. Does look a lot sportier in my opinion, and it just gives it a really good overall look. Here's that massive pillar that everyone has been really talking about. Doesn't look that bad in person. As a matter of fact, in person, it's not as big as you guys would think from seeing it in pictures. In pictures, it literally makes this thing look absolutely massive, but it's really not that bad. You do have this sort of integrated spoiler here, and because this is the hatchback, you are going to get this blacked out area here in the back, which you do not get on the sedan. Also, I love the way the taillights look a little bit better on the hatchback versus the sedan. The sedan, they kind of look a little flat. And the difference is, even though this has the 4 rings, only the 2 outside rings are going to light up, but they are still going to be LED rings. And then your turn signals and your reverse lights on here are going to be full LEDs as well. You also are going to have your dual chrome exhaust back here. And yeah, it's just a really, really good looking vehicle. All right, so here is the new key on the Mazda 3. It is very, very nice. It's got this real smooth black plastic on it. You've got some chrome accents on the top and the bottom, and then your buttons are going to be right here. So you have your lock, your unlock, you're going to have your trunk release, and then you have your panic button here in the back. Now, the one thing I'm super excited about is on the door, finally, you're going to have touch sensitive areas. So you put your thumb here, that's going to lock the car, and there's a touchpad behind there, and you put your hand right there, and that's gonna unlock it. Even though the hatchback is the base version, you're still going to get the keyless entry on this one standard. The door of the new Mazda 3. Check this thing out. It looks so nice. You've got tons of soft touch materials right up here. You're going to have this like leather coming here with this darker brown contrast stitching right there. It looks really, really nice. And you have this silver aluminum piece that's going to flow all the way into the door handle. And then you've got these aluminum Bose speakers with your door locks right on there. And check out the grain on this aluminum. You can literally see the brushed going right there. To this like floating panel here. It's got this glossed piano black here. Your window controls are very, very solid. Your mirror controls right here, your door locks. This is all going to be leather padding here. You guys can see just how plush and how soft it is. And then your door pockets right down here. You do have your seat controls here, your lumbar here. The seat material is really, really thick, but it's also very plush. It's got a lot of give to it. You've got the stitching coming here, and then you have perforations going all through the middle of the seat right here. And that's going to run all the way up. And this is Mazda's new seat design. It's supposed to be a little bit more comfortable and support the natural S-curve in the human body. So interested to see how that feels when we're driving later. But let's go ahead and hop in and check out the rest of the interior. Really solid shut. Here's a look at the inside before I start the car. And once you have the key on the inside, just put your foot on the brake. That's going to light up green, and you're going to press that to start. Very, very nice. Starting over here to the left, you are going to have memory seats over here. So you have 2 settings right there, your traction control above that, and then you're going to have this new button here, which is going to be basically for all of your safety features and things like that. Not sure if you can see this, but you have a little pocket right here. You can put coins and things in right over there. And moving up a little bit, I love how you have this aluminum accent here, and then your door flows right into this vent, which is going to be nice, soft touch leather. And then coming up here, you are going to have your heads-up display. So if I can see this for you guys, let me double check here. There it is. So there is your heads-up display floating right there in the windshield. Also, there is a gray Mazda 3. Looks really, really nice. But I love how you have the actual legitimate heads-up display. It looks awesome. And then here is your new screen right here. So this thing looks awesome. Everything on it looks a lot more high quality. So let me zoom in here. You guys can take a look at it. But the way all the graphics look is really, really nice. A lot higher quality than the previous one. And then using the commander control is a lot more simplistic than ever before. But yeah, very pleased with this new system. It looks very, very high quality. I love how it's a little bit more integrated into the dash versus, you know, just sticking up with a flat dash. I love how they have these two areas around it to kind of sort of encase it right here. Looks really nice, and you have this two-tier design right there. Leather all right here with all this stitching, and it's gonna look really, really nice. You guys can see the grain in this leather looks really good. Now coming down here, here are all of your climate controls. Very simple, I love that. Your plus and minus for your fan speed. And then you do have your knobs on the outsides because you do have dual zone climate control right in there. Heated seats, 3 settings. Then you are going to have a USB located right there. If you guys can see that, I do apologize. It's a little bit dark in this interior. You have a little pocket right down here. So let me see if I can turn on some lights to help that a little bit. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see that little cubby space back there. And then you push this and you're going to have cup holders right there. One other thing that's really nice is how these vents just so nicely integrate within the dash right here. It looks very, very nice. Coming to the shifter, you do have a new shifter here. You guys can see it has these nice metal accents around it. Looks very high quality. You have your leather here, which looks really nice. Really solid feel. And then all of your shifting, which I love how you shift down to upshift, push up to downshift, just like you do in like normal rally racing. So I love that they got that right. You do have your sport buttons here. So push up to turn on your sport mode, push down to turn it off. And then it is going to show up here in your screen. If I can zoom in here, push up, sport, push down, sport turns off. Very simple. Electronic parking brake, automatic brake hold. Here is your new dial, and it's got a really nice tactile feel to it. And I do like how this tactile feel matches this tactile feel. Your favorites button right here, home button. You're going to have your music button right here, your back, and then your navigation, and then you just push down on that to select. Now, as far as this goes, you have leather running all up here. This huge leather armrest. So my arm only takes up half of the armrest. You pull this, pull it back, and then that will open for you. You have a USB here, and you are going to have a little 12-volt right in there. And then you have this interesting divider here. Not sure I would use it. Probably just try and get it out the way if I could, but you do have that there for whatever reason. That is very nice. But let's go ahead and get into this screen and the steering wheel. So let's start with the steering wheel, right? Leather quality is very, very nice. It's got this really solid feel to it. Like, it feels almost like hard. It's kind of weird to explain, but it's just a real nice quality feel. You've got these aluminum accents coming down here with your stitching running right there. Looks really good. And then your buttons. These buttons are so just tactile feeling and sounding. They sound so good. Your Mazda symbol here, which is a little bit smaller. I love this little horn area right here. Looks really cool. And then you're going to have your cruise control settings here. So you do have adaptive cruise. You guys can see your lane keeping right there. And then you're set, all of your good stuff right in there. Looks really, really nice. Coming behind here, you are going to have automatic wipers. And then over here to the left, you are going to have automatic lights, and your automatic high beams are going to be located out here on the end of your stock. Just right there. Now, coming to the screen, one thing I did want to point out is you do have basically the same screen from like the Mazda 6 Signature. This screen is going to come standard now on the Mazda 3, so you have your tack over to the left. You're going to have your trip button right here. You're going to have your digital part right there in the middle, which looks really nice, and I can use basically these buttons right over here by clicking this info button, and it'll just scroll me through a few different menus right here. So very, very nice. And then my fuel and my water temperature over here to the right. Then you have your interior illumination located right here. In the mirror, you do have this really nice looking mirror. You're going to have full LED lights up here. So the LED lights are very, very bright in here. They look really good. Your sunglass holder. And when you fold this down, you are going to have an LED light up there as well. Also, can't forget about your sunroof, and then that is pretty much going to be it for the inside of the new Mazda 3 sedan. Let's go ahead and hop in the hatchback, and we're just gonna check out a few of the key differences, and then we'll go ahead and check out the back seats of both cars. Inside of the Mazda 3 hatchback, I'm not going to go super in depth because surprisingly, this is exactly the same as the sedan, give or take a few features. So first thing on the door, you're gonna notice is different. You don't have the Bose speakers on this one. All of this is basically the same. Coming over here, you are going to have manual adjusted seats right here. The leather is different quality. This is basically going to be like pleather until you step up to the higher version of the Mazda 3 hatchback. Same seat design, same door shut. Looking at the design of the car, steering wheel has the same beautiful controls on it. You even have that screen, once again, like I said, standard in this vehicle. Looks great. Now you don't have your heads-up display, unfortunately, but the rest of the car, like I said, still looks just as beautiful. And then you don't have your heated seats. I mean, that's pretty much about it. And then you're missing a few safety features, but everything surprisingly looks just as good. So you don't have to worry about stepping up to the highest level vehicle in order to get those great features. So the MSRP on this, before you get the snowflake white pearl paint, is $23,600 and then $24,720 after the paint color. So you can essentially get this for about 23 grand with all of those standard features. That's not a bad deal. Also, I love how most of the vehicle is imported from Japan. So you guys can see the assembly and everything right there for the car. The loaded up sedan version, $26,500 before all of your premium package features here, and then $27,420 after. Once again, that's still not a bad price for all of these luxury-esque features that you get. All right, so coming to the back seat of the Mazda 3 sedan. First of all, I have tons of feet room. Like, I have a lot of feet room. I can slide them in and out easily. Getting in and out isn't a big issue because this doesn't have as much of a slope as the hatchback version does. But if I sit up straight, you guys can see my hair is barely touching. So if it weren't for my big hair, I'd have plenty of room, 6 feet tall, sitting behind myself. And I have a surprising amount of knee room, mostly because you have this little indent right behind the seat right here, and that helps a lot. Armrest is nice and soft. You can put your elbow in it, feels really good. Got your 2 cup holders right here. You don't have any kind of like USB ports or anything like that back here, but you have pretty good sized door pockets. And here's the most impressive part. The door shut back here is ridiculous. Listen to this. That is crazy. It is crazy how good that sounds. And then of course, leather quality is pretty much the same as the front. You do have your handles here and then little hooks to hang dry cleaning or anything like that back here. The hump right here in the middle is very large. So if you have a third person, you are going to have to straddle this hump right here. Other than that, mat pocket, and that's pretty much going to be it for the back seat. So let's go ahead and check out the back seat in the hatchback version. All right, so coming to the back of the hatchback, I do want to correct myself on one thing. I actually have more headroom in here than I thought I would. I thought I would have less headroom. I actually have about 1 inch more. So if I sit up straight, I have, about 1 inch more extra headroom in here versus the sedan. Legroom, feet room, the hump in the middle, all that is basically the same. And then when I pull this down, same cool material, all that good stuff, same handles. One thing you're gonna notice is that it's much darker in here, possibly due to the fact that I don't have a moonroof, and you have these big pillars here, which means you have less glass letting in natural light. It's very, very dark in this cabin, especially with the black interior. It's just super, super dark. But other than that, everything is pretty much the same as the sedan. You can still, of course, roll the seats down, all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and check out the trunks for both cars. The trunk of the sedan. You guys can see as soon as you open it, you have a little handle here to close the trunk. You've got a good amount of space. I do have the seats folded down so you guys can see what it looks like. You pull these two little tabs and then your seats fold down just like that. You even have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 speakers back here in the trunk area, which is pretty crazy. That is gonna be because this has the Bose sound system, so obviously you get more speakers. And then under here, you are going to have your spare tire. And yeah, it's a pretty good sized trunk, definitely suitable for, you know, a single person or a small family of 2. You can definitely fit everything you need back in there. And then you have a little latch here, so if you lock someone in the trunk, they can get out. But that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and check out the trunk on the hatchback. All right, so coming to the back of the hatchback version. So first of all, when you lift it up, there's a button right underneath here. You're gonna push that button, just like this, and that's going to open the hatch for you. Then you're gonna notice this button here. So this is basically a lock button. So when you have this open, you can hit this, lock your doors. However, if you have your key in there, it will lock the doors with your key inside. We experienced that the hard way, and my camera guy had to climb in and get the key out. So very fun experience. But yeah, not sure why that button's there, but if you ever needed to use it for a good reason, then you have it. Of course, you have your handle here, you have your parcel shelf right here, which you can remove by just doing this, pulling that out just like that. And then you have your seats here, which there's a button and you can just fold them down just like that, super easy. And then you have a ton of space, so much room back here. And then you lift this up, you are going to have your spare tire under here. And not sure if you guys can see this, but you have an LED light right over here to the left. So if you have things back here, you can easily see at night. And yeah, pretty good amount of trunk space, especially on the hatchback. 10 out of 10 would recommend the hatchback if you're looking for more space. But let's go ahead and see what's under the hood, and we'll take this thing for a drive. Under the hood of both of these cars, we're gonna have a 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated Skyactiv G engine. So the Skyactiv is basically compression. So this has a 13:1 compression ratio. Actually, over in Europe, they keep it at a 14:1 compression ratio. But because this can run off of regular 87 octane fuel here in the US, they lower it to a 13:1 compression. They did up the horsepower and the torque ever so slightly. You get 1 extra horsepower, 2 more torque. So that's 186 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque, and that is going to the front wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now you can get these in all-wheel drive, however these two are not equipped with all-wheel drive, and then the fuel economy is pretty good, 26 highway, 35 city, and 30 combined. Really good numbers on this, so let's go ahead and get both of these on the road and see how they drive. All right, you guys, so behind the wheel of the brand new 2019 Mazda 3. Now, both vehicles essentially drive the same. So right now I'm in the sedan, mostly because this one has the paddle shifters and the hatchback version does not. So if I didn't mention that earlier, this sedan version, because it is the premium, has the paddle shifters, and the hatchback, since it's not the premium, doesn't have the paddle shifter. So I was really interested to see how this does, but they're both the same motor. And as you guys know, Mazda has now switched the Mazda 3 to a torsion beam setup. So I'm really interested to see how that does. Now, initial driving impressions, it feels very good. The car is in its normal driving mode, and the steering feel is great, very, very responsive. There's movement right off center, which is really good. It doesn't have the most feel to it. It actually feels very, very light. It feels not numb, but it just doesn't have a ton of feel coming through it, but it's extremely, extremely direct. Now, as far as the seating position, feels really good. I'm really comfortable. I really like the way it feels. Visibility is great. The mirrors are a little bit closer to me, feels like, a lot closer to me as a matter of fact. And they're very big, so I can see a lot out of there. Visibility is fantastic, at least in the sedan. Visibility in the hatchback, I'm just gonna go ahead and assume it's not that good, because just sitting in it earlier, I can already tell you there's a massive blind spot, but it looks fantastic, so there's that. The other thing I do want to talk about is this transmission. So it's the same 6-speed that Mazda's been using. I wish it had more gears. I really do wish it had more gears, just to give you a little bit more push in the lower gears. but as is, they tuned it very, very well. It's extremely responsive. So I'm gonna throw it into sport mode, leave it in its automatic mode. I'm not gonna use the paddles just yet. But if I just lay into it, so full throttle right now, it goes. It gives you all 186 of that horsepower, and there's no drama from the front wheels. And then once you actually get this thing going like 6/10, it's very responsive. Very responsive. Now, if I slap it into the manual mode, okay, the downshifts are pretty quick. Upshifts are decently quick. Not bad for a traditional torque converted automatic. I will admit though, I have more fun using this to shift than I do using the paddles, just because it makes you feel sort of like kin block. So I push down on this and I feel like it reacts quicker too. So I'm gonna throw it into this corner. It grips really well. Yeah, it's a lot more fun using this, trust me. The brakes are very good as well. They're very progressive, so there's not really a spot where it just bites right at the top or it bites right at the bottom. It's just kind of, the more input you put in, the more it brakes, which is, I mean, that's how brakes should be, but I really like the progressive feel of them. It feels not like a mainstream vehicle. This should not be a mainstream vehicle. It's just way too nice. It's way too composed. It's just way too quality. It's just crazy. It almost makes you think that there's got to be something wrong with this car. There has to be something that they cut corners on, and I cannot find a single thing, because this is such a nice car, and I am very, very impressed by what Mazda has done for being such a small company. And you know, a lot of the stuff they do is in-house. So the transmission is in-house, motors in-house, the infotainment is in-house. Of course, you do have Apple CarPlay. Did not mention that earlier, but for those of you who are wondering, you still have Apple CarPlay in here. And leather material's nice. The seating position is great. It's really good, you guys. Very impressed with this vehicle for sure. But other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for my review of the brand new 2019 Mazda 3. Massive thank you to Hiley Mazda in Arlington. They are always so gracious by letting me come out and film their vehicles, and they were one of the first in the area to get in the new Mazda 3 sedan and hatch, so I had to take up the opportunity and do both for you guys. So I really hope that y'all enjoyed this review. Be sure to check out the link in my description. Check out their inventory, because they're getting in a lot more, and they're also going to get in the polymetal gray hatchback stick shift appearance package with the red leather. That is going to be one beautifully spec'd vehicle, and I can't wait to hopefully get out here and film that one for you guys as well. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you guys subscribe, be a part of this journey, this experience with me. If you love cars as much as I do, I guarantee you'll love this channel. I love posting new content as often as I can, and hopefully I'll see you guys next review. Y'all take care. Bye.